Dr. Scott Kilberg, the Video Foot Doc, here with another video for you on all things foot and ankle. Today I'm going to talk about athlete's foot. It's also known as tinea pedis. Athlete's foot is a very common condition found in all sorts of different people of all sorts of different hygiene and environmental situations and home situations. It's not necessarily limited to athletes. Anyone who basically is susceptible to getting fungal infections of their skin will get athlete's foot. It's basically contracted through areas in which one's barefoot, and usually it's through community areas such as locker rooms, pools, shower stalls, but one can also get it on their own at home as well, because quite frankly fungus is everywhere we are, and people who are susceptible to getting skin infections of the fungus will contract the disease by getting the fungus inside the skin. Now essentially fungus is a microorganism like a bacteria or a virus. There are larger versions of fungus we know as mushrooms, but there are also microscopic versions of fungus. And fungus is kind of a unique organism. It's sort of like a cross between a plant and an animal, roughly speaking. And essentially what happens is that the fungal organisms enter into the skin either through a minor crack or break and essentially start to cause an infection. And this infection can include peeling and scaling and redness and itching and burning of the areas in between the toes as well as on the bottom of the foot as well. It's less common to find it on top of the foot. There are other types of fungal infections that usually involve the top of the foot, including one commonly known as ringworm. But it's essentially the same type of fungus. But athlete's foot usually just describes the infection when it's on the bottom of the foot, on the sole and the arch, as well as in between the toes. Now this condition is fairly easy to treat. Usually it can be addressed with over-the-counter medications. There are several really good ones out there that are found in most pharmacies that are used to eradicate the fungus and destroy it. However, there are certain cases, especially chronic cases, where the fungus just seems to be very persistent, that require a little bit more treatment. That might need to include prescription medications or prescription creams to destroy the fungus. And sometimes an oral medication is needed to destroy fungus, especially if it's fairly widespread or found elsewhere in other areas of the body itself. Now the danger of having chronic athlete's foot infections, which aren't necessarily treated and don't go away, is that the athlete's foot or the fungal infection can enter into the nails eventually, and that can cause a nail infection of fungus. Now nail fungus is a lot more difficult to treat, and that generally most over-the-counter creams aren't going to do anything against the fungus because it actually exists in the surface underneath the nail along the skin, which those types of creams and lotions just simply can't penetrate to be any effective. And that generally requires either an oral antifungal medication, or it also maybe help with certain newer oil-based topical antifungals, which are starting to have a lot more effectiveness than previously they did before due to different formulations and different types of medication changes. So as I said, athlete's foot's very common. It can be easily treated, and it definitely should be treated because it can be passed amongst family members, friends, especially if there's a common locker room such as at a gym or health club, and it can also eventually enter into the toenails and create a much more significant problem. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please look for more videos on all things foot and ankle on this site as well as others, where you may look at my website at www.inpodiatrygroup.com. Thank you.